Okay. First of all, a huge thank you to Mrs. Nairn for doing this. I know it's her least favourite thing on the planet to do, to film her husband cooking. However, she has been magnificent and what's the word I'm looking for? You know, you're just like so, there's a word for it, but she was great. So thank you. Gracious, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Gracious, yeah. Elegant, gracious, beautiful, all of those things. All of those things. So welcome folks, Nick Nairn here in our kitchen in Bridge of Allen. It's been a bit of a while since the last did one of these for Big Dinner 2 and for Olivia because we had a restaurant burned down and then we had to open a new restaurant, which we've done at Laken and Teeth. And if you haven't been, you're behind the curve. So that's Nick's at Portman Teeth at the Cook School. Fantastic, 9 out of 10 from the Herald. Packed out, even now in November, wherever it is we're at, it's still really busy. It's great, you should come. Book online, www.nicknairn.com, I think is the right thing for that. Now, I'm going to do some cooking, okay, so you can probably ignore that bit before. I'm going to make vegetable pakora, and in here I have one red onion finely chopped and some frozen peas. Now, why, you're asking, do I have red onion and frozen peas ready in a bowl? Well, we started this video and then we had a technical issue, so I've had to pick it up again. So the next thing I'm going to add, now this normally would be cauliflower, but I don't have any cauliflower. So, and this is a good thing about vegetable pakora, you can use pretty much what you've got in the fridge. So I had a bit of broccoli left, so in goes the broccoli in there. We have got, or I have got, some fairly scabby looking old mushrooms, but they're absolutely fine. Mushrooms actually taste better when they're a little bit dark and oxidized, like these. And they go too. Potatoes, now here's a tip. For potatoes, don't bother cooking them. Just get frozen chips and chop them up. Where did I get that tip from? Well, Tony Singh. He said, why would you be using potatoes when you can use chips? Because they're always in perfect condition, they're the right kind of potato. So in go the chopped up frozen chips in there. Oops, they're actually frozen into the bottom of the bowl. A little bit of diced courgette because I had it in the fridge, and that goes. The rest of the peas, bird's eye, petit pois. Just look at this dish clearing capacity. Those dishes in the sink. Later I will put them in the dishwasher. It's a nice kitchen. This is Kitchens International, our friends through Edinburgh. They did this for us. It's great. Look, watch this, look. This is the cupboard and it's got stuff in it.
It's so messy.
And you pull this out like this and it's all my spices. So I've got everything here. It's great. And that's the fridge in there. And that's the freezer in there. Oven.
Fascinating.
It's great. Yeah, fascinating. I was going to say, how would you know? Because you very seldom use this kitchen. So, mixed up veggies for my vegetable pakora. Red chilli, could be green, but a bit of finely chopped chilli. Not too finely chopped. I want to taste the chilli in this. Now, with chilli, if you want the heat, leave the seeds in. If you just want the flavour of chilli, take the seeds out. Because most of the capsaicin, which is the chemical that causes the burn, is in the seeds. And if you chop the seeds and break the seeds, you break the membrane, makes them even hotter. But I like it pretty spicy. Cook School Table Scraper, we sell these at the shop. On the shop now that you've got to come to the shop. So at the Cook School, we're about to start redeveloping that, if the builders can get it sorted out. And in the meantime, we've got a restaurant and a shop. So Mrs. Nairn has made a lifestyle, is that the right thing, darling? A lifestyle shop. Okay, so veggies, including chili. Now, here is the thing that makes it in pakora. This stuff here. So this is ginger garlic paste. Now it's made by equal quantity of garlic cloves and root ginger. Put it into, I use a NutriBullet and add a bit of water to it, and a little bit of oil and a bit of salt and blitz it up. And then I freeze it. So I've always got this stuff in the freezer. So ginger garlic paste, and this is going to give it a huge amount of flavour. And I'm going to add all of that actually, which I was going to use for something else, but I've got other stuff in the freezer. So using one of these silicone heat-proof spatulas that we also sell in the shop. So in goes the ginger garlic paste, some spices. So I've made a handy little spice wheel. This is turmeric, okay, and turmeric is going to give it a little bit of astringency and colour. This, now, if you've watched a Big Dinner 2 before, you'll see me making garam masala. This is the exact same, this is the actual garam masala I made for that. So there's about 20 different spices in here. Cumin seeds, unground, and this is Kashmiri, which is quite mild chili powder, and all that goes in here. So in go the spices. Just use my spatula to make sure they're all off the plate and in the bowl. I'm gonna give that a bit of a mix round, and I'm gonna add a bit of salt. So this is soft Maldon sea salt. You need a fair bit of salt in here.
Yeah.
Yep, I know. Coriander, so roughly chopped, including with coriander, there's more flavour in the roots, or the stems rather, than there is in the leaves. So roughly chopped coriander, including the stems, and that goes there. Et voila. And that's about it. Oh, obviously it's Pakora, so we need to add some flour. Now the flour isn't just ordinary flour. This is gram flour, chickpea flour, sometimes called besan, which I think is its Indian name. It's in the packet, besan, or gram flour. So you want to add just enough flour to bind this together, okay? So the easiest way to do that is to use the hands. So you want to get in here and just toss everything together, get everything coated, and as the liquid from the vegetables starts to get released, it'll start to stick together a little bit, and that'll give you an idea of the texture where you want to be. So I think we're going to need a little bit more flour in here. So, and I think we might need just a little bit of water. You don't need a huge amount, but just a little bit of water just to bind the whole thing together. Now that feels to me that the veggies are going to stick together. Okay, so in terms of the ratio of flour to veggies, I don't know, it's about 20%, I would guess. But I'm going to add a little bit of water, so just a splash. Not much water at all, and just give that a good mix round. That's better, you can kind of see that coming together now. Just give it a squish between your hands. It's a little bit messy, this process, but if you want really nice pakora, and what I'm looking for is something that's really nice and crispy, full of veg, not a lot of flour. I want to eat the veg, not really the flour. And the spices, now what I'm going to do here is take a bit of the raw pakora. We missed that. And taste it. Delicious. Not massively spicy. But yeah, and that's. Oh shit! Just turned itself on. Sorry. That happened metal bowl on an induction cooker. Wow. Well spotted.
Yeah, it was the crackling of it.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'll change that into another bowl because so just be careful, metal bowls on induction cookers.
It's got a plastic base.
It has got a plastic base, but the induction goes through the plastic. So here is the Pakora mix, okay? So you can see the sort of texture of it, and it's mainly veg, just bound together with a bit of flour, okay, but it's kind of holding its shape. Now you can make this in advance and keep it in the fridge. Might add a little bit more salt, is what I'm thinking in my head. Just another little pinch of salt in there and mix that through. And once that's done, we're good to cook the pakoras. I'm just going to let it rest for a second. I've got some oil in here, and this is old oil. I've already used it to make pakoras, and last night we had some poppadoms. And it is at about 165 degrees, pretty impressive, Nick. You don't want it to be too hot, okay? You want it to be, normally when you're deep frying, oil should be about 180 degrees centigrade, maybe up to 190. But for this, you want it to be about 165. Otherwise, it's going to colour up too soon on the outside and not be cooked all the way through. So they have to be in here for about 4 minutes to cook properly. Here's the dipping sauce. I can make you a very fancy sort of coriander and mint, fresh coriander, mint and lime, and you know, really. But this is this is what you get in your Indian curry shop. Low-fat yogurt, tomato ketchup, and this is sriracha chili sauce, much loved of our children. They put it on everything. A little pinch of salt, squeeze of lemon juice. Then we go in there and just mix that together. And that's the dipping sauce for the pakoras. It is absolutely delicious. It's kind of like a spicy cocktail sauce that you would get for a prawn cocktail. The prawn cocktail is just ketchup and mayonnaise. So the one thing I just want to just check is the kind of seasoning. So here, just a little bit more of the chili sauce. There we go, tiny bit more salt. Just mix that together. So there we go. That's the very quick, very easy dipping sauce that kind of everybody loves. So to cook these pakoras, hang on, I'm neglecting my beer.
Oh dear.
I usually cook with a glass of wine, but tonight it's beer night tonight. Excellent. Right, make sure it turns itself on. Make sure that's turned off. So oil, 165. Take a spoon, press the core down, in it goes. 165.
How many can you have in at a time?
Until it's about full.
Alright. Okay.
So that was a litre of oil in that pan. It's important that the oil is no more than a third of the pan. And I'm putting about 7 or 8 in here. And I'm putting them quite flat so that the temperature passes into the centre of the pakora and cooks them. Okay, that's probably, I mean, I'd keep temperature just to keep burning them in, but that's probably enough. Now you should have standing by a thermometer, which will tell you the temperature. So the temperature's now dropped down to 135, but it will come back up. I'll just increase the temperature a little bit. Come back up to about 165. And using my spider, just going to make sure they're not stuck. Okay, so they're just cooking away in here. Don't move them about too much at this point because they'll break up otherwise. So that's my temperature. My temperature is still dropping. So I'm just going to bang a little bit more heat, so we'll turn this up just a little bit more to get this. And another thing that's quite useful here is a slotted spoon, okay? Just to get underneath and make sure they're not stuck to the bottom. And they're not, they're beautiful. All is well with the course. Now these will take 4 to 5 minutes to cook, which is a good thing. So what can we talk about while the pakoras are cooking? Well, I can have a little bit of beer. Do you want to, I'll hold that and you get your gin tonic.
It's okay, I can do it.
Yeah? Multitasking?
One-handed, yeah.
All right, okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
And thank you again, Mr. Nairn, for doing this
Pleasure.
tonic. It's really appreciated.
Pleasure.
I know it's not pressure, but. So whilst we're doing this, I'm just going to put the sauce into a nice little bowl. Just for presentation, for serving. Come see. Voila. Okay. There we go. So that's the pakora sauce. And if we have a look in here, you can see they're just starting to set nicely. Temperature, I would suggest, is coming up. So it's now up to 130 still, okay? So I'm going to have to bang in a little bit more heat. Now these will come up quite quickly and I'll have to start back down again. But this is good. It's much better to have them at slightly too low a temperature than too high. Too high and it's just going to burn. So we're actually quite a high heat now to bring this up quite quickly. And we'll get it to that 160, 150 to 160. It should go in at 165 and drop a little bit. So yeah, it's still sitting there at 130. Okay, but that will, I can give it a little bit of a super boost on the induction heater. And it's come up very quickly now, so we're really careful to do this. A little tip here for safety: if you are open deep fat frying, be really, really careful and have at hand a bottle of cold oil. Because if it does start to overheat, pour the cold oil in.
Where is your bottle of cold oil?
It's behind me, it's over there.
Okay.
But it's two hand.
Okay.
Temperature come out nicely now.
Just checking.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a fire. You get paranoid about this stuff.
Yeah.
So you can see the bubbles changing, becoming a bit more aggressive. Pakoras are starting to look, take on a little bit of colour. Temperature's up to 140 now. We're going to come up a wee bit further still. And then I'm going to turn down the heat so we don't get too hot. Okay. So, just looking at the bubbling, kind of tells me temperature's looking good. So, Pakoras looking nice. Okay, we'll just let those continue to tick away. I'll have a little bit of beer.
Okay, I'll
And
film
all
that
is well in the
moment.
world. So apologies to Olivia at this point for being pretty slow at getting stuff to you, but it's kind of bonkers time. Any kind of self-promotion we could be doing at the moment?
I think you've done quite a lot.
The shop, the new restaurant.
Yep.
So the time scale for the Bridge of Allen restaurant, I think we're looking at the earliest Easter of next year to reopen. Easter next year. It seems like an awful long way away.
It does.
Yeah. What else is going on? Stopped filming Landward. Haven't been away. Oh,
Oh,
we went on a cruise.
oh, I thought.
Yeah. What do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say you're going to take me to Mull next week.
I am going to take you to Mull next week.
Yeah.
But we were on a saga cruise. Because that, folks, is what it's come to. Yes. Saga poster boy. It was very nice. We liked the boat, all the rest of it. Except we had, our luck. The Rhine ran out of water and we get stuck in Strasbourg. Now, that doesn't sound like
Worst
a bad...
places to get stuck, I think.
But we were in a ferry terminal. Not a ferry terminal, a container terminal.
Yeah.
But it was very nice. There's some nice folks. And coach wasn't great. And flight back wasn't great either. But it was lovely to be away, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Which is why we're doing it all again next week, and we're going on a wee road trip.
We're going on a road trip. We're going to go to Nairn. Nairn, to start off. And then we're coming down to
Oban,
yeah. So we're staying, there's this guy I know, Paddy Carrera, and he's got 7 or 8 hotels in Scotland now. And he's been spending loads of money, making it really nice. And all these spas and 5-star rooms and all the rest of it. So we met recently and we said we'd go and check him out. So that's what we're doing next week. And then we've got Mull, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that Mull.
How's your Pakora?
Look at those Pakoras.
They're
They
looking
must look
golden.
great.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to tip them out onto a little bit of baking parchment. Okay. Is that baking parchment? Yeah.
No, it's kitchen roll.
Kitchen roll. Okay, sorry. That's what I meant to say. It's terrible when you get that certain age and all your words come out a bit weird.
Wrong, even.
A bit wrong, yeah. Now you just carry on and cook more if you wanted. However, our work here is done. So we have the sauce, the dipping sauce, in here, and the Pakoras in here. Go, 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 go. Never to let yourself go. Oh man. Go. They're just delicious. I could eat these every day. Honestly, I love them so much. Do you want to try one?
No, I'll wait.
Now, I know you love these. I know this is the only reason you agreed to do this filming, is that you would get to taste one.
Yeah, you said there's no calories in them.
None at all. It's all veg.
Yeah, you said that. 5 a day.
So, guys, the garam masala that I made in the last video was in that. Any mix of veggies you like, bit of gram flour, you must have the ginger garlic, you must have a bit of chili powder, a bit of turmeric, and some cumin seeds in it. Just enough water to bind it together. You can keep the mix, that will hold for 24 hours. You can cook these and then reheat them again, which is what most carriers would do, but they are nice just like this, just out the fryer, chilled, and you can see inside, right, that's not a lot of flour in here, it's mainly veggies and a little crisp outside. Oh. God, that's good. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna eat these.
Okay.
Thank you.